All right, Frost Mage 2v2 Vaughn review. We got some Frost Discipline Breeze gameplay here into Fury War HPAL. So let's see how this goes. Not entirely sure what talents you're playing because we didn't pull up the talents, but we'll figure it out as we go. So we're going straight in there with a Snowdrift, first global into a DV. Okay. Meteor Comet Storm combo. Your Priest Domes. We get Trinket from the Pala and Parry from the War. Okay, so first things first, I like that you're playing aggressive, but I don't know if it's a good idea going in there and drifting first global. Because versus a comp like this, if these guys play properly, they can Blade Storm your Snowdrift, they can Freedom your Snowdrift. They have a lot of counterplay for the first Snowdrift. So if they're playing properly, they should actually never even get Snowdrift in this opener. So what I would do is this map also really sucks. This is my least favorite map right now by far. But versus melee, I would kind of just instead of going in there into their pillar, I would just kind of play in the middle of the map, shoot out a flurry, some lances, and then veins, and try to crank from a distance, and try to drag the warrior off the pillar. But let's continue watching regardless. This actually is fine in this scenario just because you force Palace Trinket with a fear from your priest and the wall from war. So like in this case, it's fine. But obviously, as you climb higher ratings, stuff like this is not going to happen for free. You're not going to get a wall or trinket here for free usually. Um, but yeah, let's keep watching. We have veins up as well now. We are cranking out some flurries, frost firebolts. We double DB into a ring, into another snowdrift. Okay, we snowdrift off cooldown here. It's good. We hit the drift on both of them, cranking out frost firebolts into it. We force bubble and sack. All right. So although I don't fully agree with this positioning, you are forcing a lot of CDs out. Your priest PSs you. I'm wondering with your focus frame. I think it's actually overlapping with your buffs and debuffs. So first suggestion would be to move your focus frame actually, because otherwise I don't see how you can see your buffs and debuffs, right? So I would move this focus frame maybe somewhere over here where there's a lot of space. I think that'd be a better spot for it just to start. See what happens. All right, there's another PS comes out and you end up blocking. Okay. We did have a greater invis and shield, so make sure to trade those first right there in that scenario. Let me go back a little bit actually. See what led up to this. We do have altar too. Let's see. I'm gonna go back. Okay, so altar comes back here. Let's watch from here. Priest PSs you. Yeah, so this positioning is definitely not ideal because what happens here is you're playing so close to them that the paladin gets to kind of utilize this pillar and abuse it. Um, Ideally, when you're fighting a melee healer as a mage healer, you want to try to drag the melee far from the pillar that the enemy healer is playing at, because then what happens is the enemy healer is forced to come off the pillar to heal their melee. So you can kind of dictate the flow of the game and the positioning of everyone on the map essentially as a mage by dragging the melee into spots where you want him to be. Right now you're playing on their pillars, so it just makes it really hard for you to land polys, and also you're taking like full damage, right? I would just kite warrior on this map. Honestly, I would kite him downstairs over here towards the open, towards this open. And again, the paladin's gonna have to come out, and it'll be easier to sheep and fear him. And you'll be kiting, so you'll be taking less damage, right? You see how you're like blinking in right now, trying to get polys on a healer that's at the pillar. It makes it very hard for you. You want to try to make it easier for yourself by also you're trying to like sheep the pala here while he's in orb and the warriors in blizzard. So definitely not ideal. I would move away from this pillar ASAP. And we have to send our first block here. Definitely not ideal. That's the second PS from your team too. Let's see. Okay, you blink back in. So every blink right now is like aggressive, where it should actually be blinking backwards. Most of them. We do get a Veins proc here. We send the Comet Storm. Yeah, so like we get a fear on the Palo, which he trinkets. Yeah, the early game momentum was crazy because they didn't free him or blaze storm your snowdrift, and you guys got some free CC. But at this point, this is getting a little sketchy because you've used your one block, and you have no PSs or dome. There's Magic Bop. You can still definitely win the game. This game is winnable, but it's just the positioning, right? You're still on their pillar. You want to be cutting the warrior more because if you look at details right here, your guys' damage is quite even. But you could be avoiding a lot more damage. You have like all this open space you can utilize on this map, right? Like all of this over here. You really want to force their healer off the pillar because he gets to play the pillar for free. That's to his advantage. Then you get stuck in a spear here, which you have to block. And now you guys have no cooldowns left except for swap. I'm not sure if your priest has trinket either. Because it's not being tracked. We gotta get them to update Omni CD. Yeah, okay, we're pulling off the pillar now. This is definitely something we should have done earlier. But yeah, this is looking a little sus now. You guys have no cooldowns. Warrior probably has wall coming back up. I see you're not tracking enemy defensives, but he probably has his wall coming back up. There's your third PS of the game. Get kicked on Frost. And at this point, it's kind of hard to get anything going. If the Paladin is not max trolling, it should be very hard to shoot the Paladin at the pillar right now. We get the Snowdrift, but it is 50% dampening. We get the dome out. We walk into it. He storms. There's the swap. At this point, yeah, you guys are losing a lot of steam. Jump down. You do have displace back up here. Displace back up. Mass barrier, okay. I definitely want to, if you are blinking from upstairs, it's really good to port up with displace. But I mean, at this point, see how you're positioned now? This is where you should have been positioned from the get-go. Because look at the Pally's like way more in the open, right? Like where you're going right now is good. I like this, but it's just too late into the game. It's way too damp. It's too hard to recover from this. You got to remember, they have MS and you don't either, right? So you really want to try to kite as much as possible. I would say this is the warrior second wall. At this point, you're just kind of way too behind. Would have to have an insane counter go. But it's a positional thing. It's definitely a positional thing. Your globals seem pretty min-maxed. I just think you need to try to drag the melee off the pillar earlier and kite more. Because you're a lot of times, you're just standing in their face like all game. It's almost like you're playing a melee. If we like kind of shift through it, you're like literally on top of them, but you have two shimmers right here. Unless you're going for the drift in that exact moment, you want to be moving more. That's like my first takeaway in terms of the gameplay. Let's go into the next match, though. That was a 1900 game. Our next match, we got a hook point game into BM Hunter Discipline Priest. This is a very small map here, so it's going to be hard to kite. This is a game where you can't afford to play aggressive too. I think versus Hunters, it's good to play aggressive, to be honest. Try to get drifts on them. Oh, we missed the ring though, which is kind of unfortunate. Let me go back. It's good you're going for this ring, because then it not only hits the priest, but it hits the pets too. Okay. I'm not sure. Do you have an at cursor macro for your Ring of Frost? Because I didn't see the green circle here. Just make sure when you're placing your ring, I'm seeing where you place it right here. You click right here, but remember the ring radius looks like this, right? And the enemy needs to be on the edge of the ring for it to connect. So make sure you place the ring like right here, so that way the circle looks more like this, right? That's a terrible looking circle, but you understand what I'm trying to say, right? Hitting those rings early game are going to be very essential. Oh, and then we got kicked anyways, so that's fine. All right, we do a drift go on the priest with Veins, Comet Storm. It is really good that you are Comet Meteoring into every drift possible. That's exactly what you should be doing. Now this is your Veins window, so you want to try to crank out as many Frost Firebolts as possible. It's interesting that you choose to go Priest here. You do force a PS, but I think you should just try to hit the Hunter and get as many Frost Firebolts on the Hunter as possible right now, because you can stack up your Death Chills really high. See how you just got 2 Frost Firebolts out, and now you're already at 9 Death Chill stacks? In case you don't know what Death Chill is, it's the Frost Mage talent down here. Whenever you press Veins, every time you successfully land a Frost Fireball, you do 1% increased damage during your Veins, and it stacks up to 15. So it can potentially have 15% increased damage, and also your Frost Firebolts cleave up to 3 targets if they're stacked. So this works on pets too, which allows you to stack Death Chills faster. So essentially, you could get 3 stacks of Death Chill with 1 Frostbolt cast if you're hitting multiple targets. And right here, since you're playing a BM Hunter, this is actually really beneficial for you because there's a lot of pets. And look how you have 5 stacks here of Death Chill. You Frost Firebolt once, boom. Okay, you have 7 there. You have 9. Okay, they'd only hit 2 targets there for some reason. It should hit all 3, but you get the point. You should try to get these Death Chill stacks to 15 as soon as possible. And then you can look to do Snowdrift Goes, because now during your Snowdrift Go window, and your Comet or Meteor will hit 15% harder. So try to utilize that and abuse the Death Chill stacks during your Veins window. And hitting the Hunter will allow you to stack them up faster because the pets are near him. Also, your Blizzard, every time your Blizzard ticks, it resets Orb CD by a little bit. And the more targets your Blizzard hits, the more CDR you get on your orbs. So make sure to abuse that versus Hunters too, versus VM Hunters and Demo Lock, stuff like that. It's not the biggest thing, but little things like that add up, right? I would have tried to look for a sheep off this Fear on the Priest here too. Your Priest gets the Fear. Make sure to push into to attempt to sheep it. The Hunter has no kick right now. So this would be most likely a guaranteed sheep. And then you can look to crank the Hunter. But this is 2s, and getting CC is important, but you definitely don't want to force it. You can actually win games just by landing CSs. Well, I think you mentioned that you use regular CS and focus CS, and you also have CS Arena 1 and 2 and 3, but you said you're not used to using Arena macros yet. So I would recommend, if you're serious about improving and you're looking to push eventually in 3s and shuffle as well, that you might even want to unbind your focus CS and poly and just force yourself to press Arena 1, 2 poly and CS just until you get used to it. That's going to force you to build the muscle memory faster. This is not something you have to do immediately, but it could be a good way to learn. Otherwise, your brain's just going to keep pressing the regular focus, right? It's a good way to force yourself to learn faster. Let's go back right here. So yeah, looking for CSs, right? Oh man, I hate that this replay, it's blocking your main bar. Oh, hide toolbar here. No, that's not it. Not sure why it's like still covering it. All right, we have to block. We do have greater invis. Make sure to utilize that before blocking it, like 99% of the time. If you can, greater invis, you press that before you block for 60% damage reduction. You do have Veins coming up in 30. It's good to always play like a little slower until you have Veins up if it's coming up soon. Make sure we're novaing pets. And purging the Hunter if he ever has purgeable buffs. If you have a full mana bar, which you do right now, it's good value to look to steal like shields and renews and stuff like that. We have Veins in 5 seconds. Make sure we're pressing shield on CD here. I can't tell if you're playing Overpowered Barrier. I don't think you are though. Again, I can't see your buffs because your focus frame is covering your buffs, so I couldn't tell if that's a normal barrier or Overpowered Barrier. There's Veins. Okay, let's look to do a crank window here. We have Snowdrift in 9. We still have decent cooldowns. There's PS and swap. There's the drift go. Nice. The priest, I think it just dispelled it though there. Ideally, when you're doing drift goes, you want to have like land a CS on penance on the healer or have him in like a sheep or fear rather than just going for, oh, did he trinket? Maybe the Hunter trinketed actually. Go back here for a sec. Drift. No, he got dispelled, okay. What is the Hunter trinket then? Oh, he trinkets the half drift, I see. Okay, there's PI. Make sure you get the PI off. Okay. Dome from your priest. Yeah. So here, you want to make sure you're blizzarding pets off CD, and again, during your veins window, crank out more frost firebolts. Hitting Hunter is also the play here too, instead of just like trying to go priest super early in the game. But I think your problem is you need to try to get more CC on the healer and snowdrift the Hunter. He has a freedom. Hunter has freedom for himself too. I think it's called Master's Call. So you want to like to try to purge that and okay. There's another PS. Okay, we just die. Yeah, I think we're playing a little too aggressive and not getting enough value during our veins window, I think. Let's go back and watch the veins window one more time. And we're not doing enough CC on priest with the snowdrift combo on the hunter. It has to be timed. You don't want to be just going for snowdrifts with no cover on the healer because they just dispel it. So like right here would be a good time to do it, but you don't have it for 6. I think it's decent because you went for it earlier without CC on healer. Like right there, you could CS that, right? Look to CS penances more. And then like right here, the priest would be locked and you get the drift and he wouldn't be able to dispel it. Just examples like that. Just looking to play off of counter spells more. Because I'm not sure exactly how many counter spells you landed this game. Let's shuffle through it here. 10 seconds, 10 seconds. Just rewinding 10 seconds at a time. You might have not pressed CS one time this game, bro. Yeah, I don't think you pressed CS one time this game. So definitely look to lock him on penance more. And that's going to create opportunities for your snowdrifts to stick and flip the momentum to your favor. You can alternatively also CS them on shadow, and that makes it so they can't shadow or death your polys. And then that gives you a window to push in for a death. Because they can't death, and I believe they can't fade while locked shadow either. I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure both get locked out when they're locked shadow. So lock shadow to push for CC and lock penances to stop heals and dispels and flip momentum. Definitely going to play off of those more. It's going to open up way more windows to close out games. Because right now you're going for drifts. Again, another drift gets dispelled. You're going for drifts when the healer's not in CC and it's like very low value. Because hunters are going to out PvE you eventually, and they have MS too. So like you have to have cleaner goes to win this matchup. So it's the first game, it's going to be primarily positioning. Second game, it's going to be landing higher value CSs. Because, yeah, again, I didn't press CS one time that game. Definitely something to work on. Okay, we got another melee healer matchup here. It's Windwalker, Presevoker on a big... This is a good map for you. Very big map. Remember what I mentioned earlier? Is like you want to drag the melee. Because if the melee is going you, again, you can dictate their positioning. As a caster, you control this entire game. Wherever you are, the monk will have to chase you. And then... wherever you go, because the monk is chasing you, the enemy healer has to come out to heal their monk, right? So utilizing all this open space over here, you have all this over here, and then on the complete other side of the map, it's mirrored, right? It's symmetrical, so utilizing, not playing on the pillar, but dragging this melee to spots you want him to be. So right here, we go for the drift. We blink away right before it goes off. Again, like right here, you could probably... drag the monk in open, sheep the healer for free or fear the healer, and then we can drift DB, Comet Storm Meteor. Looking to do drift DBs are going to be really good to micro them so they can't port mid drift. Okay, I see you're hitting the healer here now. You get wall. That's fine. But you got to come off this pillar. You got look at all this open space. You want to drag the melee over here and just keep cranking with like instants, right? Like Orb, Blizzard, Fingers of Frost lances, Flurry lances, as you're like kiting this way. And what happens? The enemy healer's here. He has to come out to chase as well. And then at some point, you can probably do an offensive shimmer and then sheep the healer free while he's in the open. Or your healer can fear as well. But you really got to utilize this big map. You don't want to be like forcing yourself to play in this small condensed area. Because again, if the enemy healer has a pillar, that's not good for you. You want them all in the open because then you can control the game. And do maximum damage because they can't line you, and get free CC because they can't line it, and free CSs. So that's what I'm noticing in your melee healer matchups right now is, again, playing out the pillar way too much. And then you guys are also now stacked for double leg sweep, double deep breath, have to PS now. You do force a trinket though. You try to sheep, he time stops it. Oh, and then you just die. Okay. That's really unlucky. Did have block there, but yeah, Monk's Burst is kind of crazy. So yeah, just the biggest thing to take away from these games is drag the guy off of the pillar and dictate everyone's positioning. And then if they, so sometimes you'll have melees that kill your healer. And in that case, your healer will just walk into the open to drag him off the open, and then you can free blast him and free CC healer. We can open a notepad as well. Versus melee healer. Play in the open more. Drag enemy DPS into wide open, which will force enemy healer to come out to heal. Makes it easier to do damage and get free CC CS. Very important. That's something, if you just start doing that alone, just do everything you're doing right now, but that alone, if you incorporate that, you're going to win way more games and climb like 150 to 200 CR just from incorporating that alone versus that composition. Positioning is so important. I think that's definitely your biggest weakness right now. It's like it seems like your damage globals are decent, and you're actually utilizing your snowdrift super well as well, pressing it on CD, getting them off. But it's just the position into the melee comps at least. It's just the positioning thing. Here you're fighting sub rogue fire mage. I don't play Blink Stun often, but this is the one matchup that you'll actually spec out a Shimmer to go Blink Stun because you're only going to be dying in goes versus sub rogues, right? They're going to try to stun you, triple stun you essentially, stun lock you and kill you. If you play Blink Stun though, like you're completely fine. So this is one of the matchups where I would play Blink. So right here you could just blink, right? And alter and then Shimmer. Oh, sorry, blink, alter, and then displace if you need to with mirror image to dam reduct. And then you have greater invis too for 60% dam reduct if needed. So you would never actually have to block here. We flurry the rogue, we veins, we go for the drift. Nice, we hit the drift. We combo him. See, okay, you get trinket cloak. See what I mean? Like your drift usage is really good. And you're a very aggressive player. It's just really got to fix the positioning. This is a little different though because you're fighting double DPS, right? At this point, rogue has no trinket cloak, so you want to just hard commit the rogue. Mage still has a cop block. Either target is fine here, honestly. Like early game, you just kind of send what you can, and then whatever has less cooldowns, you just kind of commit. That's how you will play into most double DPS teams. You get another drift here and then win the game. Nice. Pretty textbook. But this is a game you could win without even having to block, right? Obviously, you're 1850, but you know the higher you climb, the more punishing players will be. So definitely holding blocks when you can is good. Okay, we got another hunter matchup. This time it's marksman hunter disc priest on Empyrean domain again. Here again, I would, instead of trying to go healers, I would just race their DPS, go their DPS, and try to go for again CSs and sheeps on the healer when possible. If you can ever, I haven't seen you do this yet, but if you can ever CC the healer with a poly and then snowdrift the kill target, that's like textbook go as a frost mage. We want to be seeing more of those. Again, not forcing it because sometimes it's going to be hard to land CCs when you have to go through kicks and feints, kicks and fades and deaths. But the windows will open up if you're positioned properly, so. Like right here, I would just go hunter while trading defensives with the altars, mirror image, greater invis, and also lining. Obviously, it's a hunter this time, not a melee, so you're gonna have to abuse a pillar a little bit more, right? Because hunters will outcrank you generally. All right, you cranked him pretty hard there. Force swap. It's good. Shift all your CDs back behind the pillar here while lining the kick, ideally, since we did already veins. That works. Okay. Oh, we tried to drift, but we had no shimmer. See how if you shifted first, you would have a shimmer to get to him. Because I think you thought you had a shimmer there. But you force PS anyways. The thing at this MMR, people are constantly making mistakes left and right from both teams. So, but we want to try to fix these bad habits, right? So that way you can climb, not only climb easier, but have a better time when you are fighting people that punish you for your mistakes. You're forcing a decent amount of cooldowns here, though. But I think you should definitely look for a shift earlier. Shifting power. And again, we gotta see we could have CS that ulti pen right there. You're not pressing CS nearly enough. If you need to, if it's an awareness issue, You don't have to be ashamed of making the cast bar even bigger. This cast bar, make it even bigger. Make it out, extend out this way. If it's an awareness thing, but if it's more of like a decision making thing, that's just something you got to work on. But like if we're playing an entire match and not landing a single kick, that's gonna be quite detrimental, right? And again, we're trying to go for a snowdrift here with no CC on the healer, no CS on the healer. Good use of greater wall though. Well, one good thing I have to give props to is you are pressing your defensives at least. Like you have your shield on CD, you have your mirror image for 20% dam reduct on CD, greater invis for 60% dam reduct right there. You are using your altars, you are shimmering around. You just got to make sure to shifting power, CDR all your CDs back, and hit your CSs. Because I have yet to see a CS here. Let's see. Priest fades, that's marksman hunter cooldowns. You have shield for it. Okay, we orb. We have Veins coming up in 15 seconds, and the hunter already rossed Roar of Sacrifice. So, and you still have 2 blocks, so this is looking pretty decent. You have Snowdrift as well. Oof. Your priest has to swap you. Try to steal. Yeah, you get the PI. Good. You stole the PI. Okay, we're looking for a drift. Again, we're drifting with no CC on the healer. He could have dispelled that. See, the enemy healer didn't even dispel it, but like a good priest would always dispel that there, right? Unless you're forcing dispel first. You can alternatively, I don't think you're playing it, but you could go for drifts without CC if you have an ice wall, right? Like right here, you could like pre-ice wall this right here, this angle, and then snowdrift DB him. But yeah, you definitely don't want to be going for drifts without CC or CS on penance. And then in terms of positioning here, you are using the pillar. You can push in on the enemy healer together with your disc a little bit more too to try to help land those CCs. Do you force dome? You can CS that penance there. See, okay, you get the sheep though, which he trinkets. See how like he didn't even death that poly there? A lot of mistakes coming up from the enemy team. Yeah, I don't think he's even attempting to juke you either, so you could be CSing him for free on CD. There's hunter cooldowns. We attempt the drift. We hit it. Enemy priest fades but doesn't dispel the drift. There's Ross. You still have 2 blocks. And we have 1 PS rotated back up, which we use now. Need to CS the priest. CS the priest. If you lock him on Void Blast on Shadow there, you can sheep him for free because he can't death while lock Shadow once again. You sheep him anyways. Oh, I would try to resheep that there with no gap so he doesn't get the PS off. CS him. Wow, see how you never pressing CS. You really got to work on these. Definitely could have forced a swap way earlier if we're locking him. Alter all this. Alter before the aim shot goes off. Okay. Alter this. Definitely needs to trade alter there. It's just cooldowns, free aim shot. Alter is affected by dampening now though, which kind of sucks, but the higher you can do it, the better always, right? Oh, you're still not pressing alter. And then you're forced to block. Definitely get a higher value alter and greater invis there, and you can save your block. You have Veins and Snowdrift here though, so this is a winnable game. It's very winnable. You need to press alter though. It's very winnable. All you have to do is land a CS on penance, Snowdrift the hunter, and just combo him. Oh, he dies anyways, maybe. He fears. Oh, he dies anyways. Okay. So see how like with all these mistakes, you can still win games because you're not the only one making mistakes. The enemy team is as well. But yeah, I'm gonna put these on the notepad. Landing way more CSs on enemy healer if you're fighting a non-caster. Obviously, if you're fighting a caster, you want to land CSs on the DPS caster more too. But when you're fighting stuff like that, when the only thing to CS is the healer, you got to hit those. It's going to be game changing if you're CSing them on CD. which honestly at 1850 MMR, they're rarely going to be juking you with those kicks. So imagine if you're CSing them on cooldown, like how much further behind they'll be. You get a free sheep on the healer here. That's good. So even at this rating, they don't even try to death or fade your poly. So it's like so much easier to get CC. Okay, it is a melee healer game again. So let's see. This time though, they choose to go your healer. So this is it's going to be really important the way your healer positions. So that way he doesn't line you and force a warrior to line you. Do you go for the snowdrift? Okay, let me go back here. I like how you go for those snow drifts a lot, but in this scenario, I wouldn't even go for drift here. I would press my icy veins and just spam hardcast frost fireballs because he's not on you. You get the free cast, right? Because what you did is you chose to go in and drift and get speared with your priest. But like if you have some distance, if you veins here, you have PI, you could just get 15 stacks of Jet Death Chill here. And then maybe CS the priest on penance, then go for a drift and combo him with Comet Storm Meteor with 15 stacks of Death Chill, 15% increased damage. That's gonna be way deadlier, right? And then outside of that, you're gonna have Death Chill stacks up for the rest of your veins, which you are extending with your lances. So like blinking in here is definitely not ideal because if this warrior was good, he could also just fear you right now. And then if you trinket it, he could just stun your trinket and just peel your veins. So like keeping the distance here would be a lot more high value. Right, because you could CS the priest. Look at all these flash shields and the penances. Look at all of that. Not a single CS to be seen. You do force wall anyways though. Again, I recommend deleting your focus CS and poly macro if you want to get used to Arena 123 macros and force yourself to play with Arena CS and poly 123 until you get it down. Because right now it doesn't even seem like you're pressing your focus CS like I said. So you might as well just start that now. Your priest is doing a good job though, keeping the warrior in the open. Because like a lot of mistakes disc priests make, if they're getting trained by melee, they start panicking and like running behind the pillar, and then the warrior chases them behind the pillar, and now the warrior's out of your line, so you can't do damage to them, and then you end up having to chase them behind pillar. But your priest is like keeping him in the open, so he's doing the right thing. At this point, yeah, you still have 2 PSs and you're quite ahead. Let's see. Let me go back here. We do land a CS poly for free on the healer. I don't think this priest attempts to death or fade it. It is veins though, so it's kind of hard to do. Nice port back. Good port. Good knock. Look at that. Shimmer, port, knock. Utilizing your mobility and CC properly there. I like to see it. Priest gets a fear. Poly is DR'd though. He fades this poly when you try to go for it. I would attempt the drift here now. Yeah, there we go. We connect it. Look for Trinket CS if he starts casting here. Right there, Trinket CS. Don't CS. Did you Trinket there? Let me go back. I can't see because of this bar covering it. This replay is like really scuffed, by the way. I would prefer if you post on YouTube in the future if you choose to continue with more reviews. Because this bar just keeps covering. I don't know how to hide it. Let me see if you Trinket CS here, or Trinket here. Okay, you don't Trinket, okay. But if you Trinket CS him there and keep cranking him with the rest of your veins, probably more cooldowns. Probably will swap if they haven't pressed it yet. Right there, you could, while the priest is in the open, you can attempt to sheep him and baited fate or death. Oh, see how you're blinking in right now? See how you're blinking in? Do not blink in. You want to blink back right here. I would just go blink backwards, like into the open right here, and keep moving this way and further that way. And the priest will have to jump down and leave this ramp to continue healing the warrior. And it'll be easier, again, for you to land CSs, polys, and fears on the enemy priest, but you're running into him instead, which makes it awkward. Because now he jumps down and lines you. While the warrior's cranking you, now you're like running away from your healer. Your healer gets a fear. Should have tried to sheep that probably. There's PS. Now you guys are having to trade. It's warrior cooldowns. He melds your poly. Ulti pen. Could have CS that again. Let's go back and watch this. Yeah, could CS this. See, right here, it's because he melded. This is also another reason why Arena 123 macros are better than focus. Because right here, when he melds, it drops your focus, right? Gotcha. So, and if you want to CS him, you have to put him back on your focus target, which is an input, or maybe even two if it's modified to alt like mine. And then you have to focus CS. Like for me, if I want to put him on focus, I press Alt A to set him on focus, and then I have to press Shift 4 on my Naga. So that's four inputs, right? That's four inputs for me to put him on focus and CS him. But I would just press Arena CS 1 here, which is just one on my Naga. That's one input versus three. So it's just so much better in these kind of scenarios. You just CS him so quick right there. But yeah, I think yeah, if you work on your positioning versus these melee teams and landing kicks, I guarantee you you'll be up 250 CR just by doing that alone from just watching these games. Because again, your damage is not that bad aside from going from drifts without CC or CSs on healer. Your damage is not that bad, and you're utilizing your shield, alter, mirror image, and displace pretty decently too with greater invis. Could be a little better, but it's definitely that it's not bad. It's not what's holding you back. It's for sure just positioning in CSs. Because like we've watched like 18 minutes of gameplay and not a single CS was landed, right? It's so important. And this is the first snowdrift on the kill target with CC on healer that I've seen as well in these last 17 minutes. That's good. I would have just tried to resheep that while the warrior's getting drifted and then Comet Storm as his wall is falling. So more of those. More CC on healer, either it be fears and polys and drifts at the same time on the kill target. So I just want to see more of that with the mobility positioning that we talked about earlier. I guarantee you, man, you work on this, you'll be up 250 CR. I promise you. Because when I VOD review a lot of clients, one of their biggest issues is actually their defensive trading, but it's actually the opposite for you. We got the drift here. We got a high altar. Good. See how you're like blinking into the warrior there? It's like you have melee brain, I would say. You actually just have melee brain, just trying to play into them pushing on them too much. You're a mage, you gotta pull them out, you know? Like, CS that penance, please. Get storm bolted. You have veins and drift coming up here. You can definitely close out the game here. You have blast wave. Okay. Okay, you're going in. You're going in. Okay, you should probably win right here. Yeah. Okay, PSs. CS the penance. Okay, you get kicked. Arcane. Free sheep. Doesn't death it. You probably win here. Yeah. So this game could have been won way easier. Also, are you clicking your trinket? I noticed this the other game you clicked your trinket. But I thought it was like something was there was a scuff in the UI, but you end up doing it here again. Make sure your trinket is bound. It is bound to 9, it says. I don't know if you have a Razor Naga, but definitely don't want to be clicking trinket. All right, another BM Hunter Disc Priest game. Again, I hate to repeat myself so much, but it does really come down to this. Land CSs on Priest, on Penance, or Sheep Fears, and then drift the Hunter. And keep an eye on Master's Call Freedom, because they have to be essentially slowed by drift for 2 whole seconds before the stun detonates. So if they're Freedom, the stun will never go off, right? That's why like Warriors will try to Blaze Storm your drift, Paladins will try to Freedom your drift, Hunters will Master Call it, shit like that. We got the drift here though. Again, at this MMR, people are not going to be doing the things they should be, so you get stuff for free. But we gotta fix these bad habits so you can actually climb. I hate repeating myself, but it's so important that we hammer in these concepts and fix these mistakes ASAP. All of this, like Priest is hard casting Void Blast, Mind Blast, Penances. We're not CSing a single one. You CS someone Shadow there, you free sheep him. But at this MMR, they're not going to fade or death, so you get a free sheep anyways, which you force Trinket. It's good. We bring all the pets. Get a Veins proc. Should Orb, Blizzard. At this point, I would like even blink behind the pillar. Since he PS, I would blink behind the pillar. You already force a cooldown and shift all your CDs back. That's one thing I don't think you're utilizing enough, actually, is shifting power too. Because you could shift back your shimmers, your CSs, your mirror images, your veins, your drift. Like once you've sent everything and you've traded some defensives, it's good to press. Because then, you know, the sooner you shift, the sooner it comes back. You do it there. We get the double drift into a fear. Really good. I would look to sheep off this fear. The DR falls at the same time, which you didn't do. CS dependence. Oh, wait, we actually pressed CS this time. CS is on cooldown here. Let's see what we CS'd. I can't see with this bar, man. Let's go back. Sorry, I have to play it in smaller screen. I can't see your main action bar. Wait, what did we CS? We CS nothing here. They were both feared and your CS goes on CD. Not sure what happened there, but... Yeah, we CS here, but I'm not sure what there is to CS. It's probably just a fat finger. At this point, I would try to take their pillar to avoid damage. Like, take the pillar over here, the one closer to their healer, so it makes it easier for you to land CC. Make sure you're Novaing pets off you. No Ice Nova pets. We are forced to block, though. We do come out with the veins. Free sheep. Okay, go for the drift. You get rooted. Resheep this. Oh, we DB nothing here. Your Shimmer starved right now, which is a little bit awkward. Purge the PI. Shot the priest. Oh my god, if you just CS'd him right there, he would have been dead. But he dies anyways, yeah. So look at all these games you're winning by, even though you're not doing, you know, the proper positioning things and landing kicks and CCing things. So, and you're 1900. So you could easily, I guarantee you could be playing at 2150, 2200 right now if we just work on these things listed right here. I think just try to focus on this and also unbind your focus macros and force yourself to learn Arena CS Poly 1, 2, 3. And if needed, make your S Arena cast bars bigger so it's easier to see. I think if you just work on, I mean, obviously there's other things as well, but these are the biggest negatives that I noticed in your gameplay that are detrimental to you climbing. So work on this within the next week coming up, and I guarantee you will climb.